In this video, we'll see the demonstration of exception handling. So a quick recap, so exception handling is you have to handle the errors which is caused by users or by some malfunctioning of your system. So you have to handle those type of errors. Now basically errors are of three types. In fact, it's basically two types of problems can be arised. One is actually error and second is exception. But still, if we talk about errors, we have three types. One is compile time error. Now compile time errors are those errors which are arise due to syntax problem. Then we have runtime problem, which is caused due to file misplaced or maybe file not found or invalid input or invalid action, maybe those runtime exceptions. And then we have something called as logical errors. So logical errors are basically you will get the right, you will get the output, but the output will not be right. Example, if you say 2 plus 2 and you are getting the output, but the output is 5. So somewhere the logic is wrong. So when we talk about errors, it's of three types: compile time, runtime, and logical. Now, in our example, we need to focus on one thing called as runtime exceptions. So mostly we'll focus on runtime exceptions, but if we talk about exception, again, as per the theory, we have throwable interface, which is in which we have exception class, and then we have IO exception, we have SQL exception, and then we have runtime exceptions, right? So that we have seen already. Now, if we talk about this thing, we also know we have checked exception and unchecked exceptions. So we'll try to use those examples here now. So let's say we have public static void main which accepts a string parameter. So we'll say it is string, it's string A, and here what we'll do is we'll use two numbers. We'll say int I comma j comma k. So we have three variables here, and the value for I is 4. The value for j is, let's say, 6. Now what I want to do is I want to apply a operation which is division. Now in order to go for division, we have to use we need to use an operator which is, yeah. So we have to use the operator which is this slash. So we have to say I divide by j, and the output will be stored in k. So we can now print the value of k. So we'll say system dot out dot println, and we can print the value of k. So what do you think the output will be? So if you're expecting an output in decimal format or the point format, then the answer is no. It's because the type of k here is int. So the output you'll be getting is 0, because it will only show the quotient part. So 4 divided by 6, the quotient is 0. So we are getting some output, right? But what if I say the value is 2? Which is straightforward, right? So if 4 divided by 2 is 2. So if I say run as Java application now, the output is 2, right? But let's say due to some problem, the input we are providing here is 0. Now if you can see, our code is divided into some two parts. One is the normal part and second is abnormal, or you can say a critical part. So this statement here is normal, right? So there will not be any error here. These two statements, they are also safe, is because we're just assigning the value. But what about this statement? Since whenever you write I divided by j, and if your j value is 0, it will give you an error because you cannot divide a number with 0. So if you try to run this application, again you can see we are not getting any error by Eclipse. So Eclipse even don't know what will be the problem. So if I say run as Java application, the output is it is exception in thread main, and the problem is it is arithmetic exception, which says it is divided by 0 and you cannot divide a number by 0, right? Then you will say, okay, so we cannot divide by 0, so we should not divide by 0. But hold on, there are some inputs which is given by user, and you cannot restrict a user. You see, you can check the value he has inputted, but sometimes we need to handle the exception. Why? Is because if you get the exception, it will abnormally terminate the code. What we want is, let's say we have one more statement here, which is system.out.println, which simply prints, let's say it prints by. So in any scenario, maybe you're getting the right output or you're getting the right answer, the output should be by at last. So if I run this now, so if I say Java application, we are not getting that by. That means we need to handle this exception. Now, in order to handle the exception, we need to use a block, and that block is called as try catch block. Now, how exactly we use that block, that we'll see in the next part.